Hey guys, you're back with Welcome to the K. I'm Shine with Sun, and today I have a special guest today. Sheryl, please introduce yourself.
Sheryl Plouffe. I am what I call video strategist, which is a fancy way of saying that I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, and I also produce videos for select clients. So I'm really a person who is focused a lot on messaging, and I think that is something that a lot of people in business, whether it be a small business or medium-sized business, can kind of struggle a little bit with what is our message, and that's the thing I specialize in.
Why did you choose media for your career?
I wonder if really media chose me in many ways. But when I was around 17 or so, I was really shy, and I was looking for ways to kind of break out of my shyness. And lo and behold, there was a cable TV station in the city that I lived in, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to volunteer there. And I actually didn't start off on air. I actually started pulling cables and working on the crew. And it wasn't until someone asked me, hey, do you want to give this a shot, because we have this local news magazine program. Would you like to give it a shot to see, how you like it, because we need a volunteer to host the show? And I said, no, I was scared, but I said, sure, I'll try it. And it just turned out to be something that I loved, and it grew from there.
Wow, that's amazing. Why did you decide to leave TV?
I left television after a long career in television because I really saw an opportunity to take the best practices from the broadcasting and television industry and apply that to helping businesses to grow. I think I've always had an entrepreneurial bone in my body, and it's interesting because when I look back on my even childhood, I saw my mom and dad both try to have businesses of their own without success, unfortunately, way back in the day. So I think maybe I'd come by it honestly. I just really love entrepreneurship. I love the idea of being able to start your own business, and I wanted to help support businesses to grow their audiences and to grow and scale their own businesses using the best practices from what I learned in broadcasting.
What advice would you give others that want to get into this?
Advice for young people, you mean?
Yeah, young people, even people in their 30s or 40s.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I was thinking, well, really this advice is applicable to anyone, really. But I think that the thing is that as it relates specifically to video, it can be a scary medium. It's a medium where a lot of people shy away from it because they're afraid of what people will think, and they're not really sure what to say, and they don't like the way they look and sound on camera, and so many different fears and resistance around it. So I think my advice would be just to start. You will have to dig deep. For some of you who are listening to this, you may have to dig deep and find the courage to just take that first step. And if it's anything like my own experience when I was 17, I was scared too, and I just decided that, it was worth the fear, getting over that fear, and it was worth it for me because I really felt like that shyness that I had all through my childhood and growing up, I started to kind of really come out of it in my mid-teens or so. But I knew that was something that I'd have to get over if I wanted to succeed. If I wanted to, have a job or a career, I'd have to find the confidence to be able to go up and do well in an interview situation or what have you. So I really feel like starting is the key, and that is the scariest part. I think the advice that I would give too is to say that it's never as difficult the second time you do something, it's never as scary as the first. So dig deep, find the courage, and if you need to find mentorship or you need to find support or accountability or coaching, then do that. Those people exist to be able to help you take those first few steps. But I really think it's taking the first few steps and then building on that sense of commitment and confidence that comes from it, and then growing from there.
How do you think social media is changing?
Well, Sonya, I think my belief on that is that, it is my belief on this, that we have seen, I think, to this point in our, in social media, which is so interesting because it's still in its infancy, really, when you think about it from the perspective of life and history, right? It's still only in its infancy, but we have seen a lot of perfection. We have seen a lot of photoshopped pictures and filtered photos on Instagram and, photoshopped this and that and perfection. And I think that we're going toward a place now where people are really seeking and craving authenticity, realness, and that those perfect photos and that perfect life that people have been, frankly, maybe even in many cases making up, because I don't think it's reality. I think people are seeing through that now, and people are becoming much more savvy on social media and recognize that, that's just made up or staged or photoshopped. And I think people are craving authenticity, and that's where I think that, especially as it relates to what I do, which is all about strategic storytelling and doing away with word-for-word scripts and overcomplicated video production and just being real and speaking from the heart. I think that's really where we're going now.
I agree, and even what you said before, you have to overcome shyness too if you want to, even if it's on your social media or you're meeting people for the in person or over online, you have to you have to get over that shyness, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's hard. I don't want to sugarcoat it and say, you should be able to do it. It will be hard for some people, and it's like they say, anything worth having is worth going through the pain and the fear and all of that. So I think that it's one of those things that you just have to kind of overcome. And this is irregardless of social media, Sonya, irregardless of online, just in the world, just to be able to have the confidence and get over people seeing you in person, like going to a networking event. For a lot of people, going to a networking event and introducing yourself to another person, to a stranger, is a huge, huge deal. So I think it's really getting over that and finding ways and maybe even support to get over that hump and get out there and start being seen and share your message. It's a challenge for some people, but it's definitely worth it.
I agree, because I noticed even people that I went to class with, they were shy even just networking in class, or even I was I'm gonna go meet this person or this person for the first time. They're like, how do you do it? Because they were getting over their shyness too. So I feel even I don't know, learning from someone like you, that could help them get out of their shell in a way.
Yeah, well, I think that's where the coaching piece comes into play. What I do, I have online programs and in-person events and things like that. The coaching piece of what I do is around that. It's around finding the courage to build that commitment to an audience, and then ultimately to have the confidence to continue. And it's a skill set. It's just like any other skill set that you hone to build a business, and communication is no different.
What can people get out of the creation toolkit that you have in your Instagram bio? What is that?
Yeah, that video creation toolkit is my way of putting together online lists, digital lists of video gear and equipment and tools that I use and recommend. And actually, some of them are even on my own wish list. What I pride myself on, Sonya, is really trying to stay on top of what are the cutting-edge tools as far as equipment and gear, whether you want to be producing videos yourself, or maybe you want to be doing them from your office, or you want to be on location, or you want to use your smartphone, which is what I specialize in, webcams. I like to have current, up-to-date lists. In the past, when I put these lists together, I did them and delivered them in a way that it was a PDF. And so the unfortunate thing about that is that once a person gets the PDF, it's only valid for that point in time. So what I discovered was, if I was to create these lists on Amazon, on my Amazon storefront, regardless of whether people purchase them or not, but to me it's like a portal, and it's just a way for me to, if I find a microphone that I like better, I can go in and sub that microphone out for the new one that I've just found. And so it keeps that list fresh And so now I can digitally share that link with people, and they'll always see the most up-to-date current things that I use and recommend.
So it's like basically kind of like your toolkit about what you should use to like better their like videos, or like if they're doing a podcast, like it's like what you recommend. That would be the great.
Yeah. And so there's really two parts to it. I have an online Amazon storefront that shows video equipment and gear, and then I also have an accompanying, granted, PDF that has more of the mainstay type programs and softwares that I use, that I've been using for years. Those things don't typically change as much. These are the tools that I've used to grow my business, and I love them. So that doesn't change as much. So it's really kind of a two-part thing. But yeah, if you go to SherylFreeGift.com, you are able to subscribe to that link and also that PDF. So you kind of get everything, all of the tools that I use and recommend as far as, you know, video is concerned, and frankly, online digital marketing as well.
That's amazing, because I feel like a lot of students or people that are just getting out of like a program, they have no idea what to buy, or they're deciding to like start their kit. So like that'd be great.
Yeah, it can be confusing. It can be really overwhelming and confusing when you don't really know where to start. Now, not to say that my list is the be-all and end-all of lists, but it's just what I've used. It's what I use and recommend, and these are the things that I find most useful in the sense of keeping things efficient. I'm always looking at ways to simplify, make things efficient. That's really kind of what I do, is to find systems, tools that are the best things we can put together to make this whole process as simple as possible. Because let's be honest, if you're starting a business or you're growing a business, you're wearing a lot of hats. And if we can make at least the content, the video content piece of this equation, which is the audience building equation part, as simple as possible and as efficient as possible, it gives you more time to actually work on the business.
That's great. How do you use social media to connect?
Well, I mean, I create content and I publish content. I also do use social media from the perspective of sending people messages. Like I'll DM people and send private messages. I often try to do it with a video. And the reason I do that is because it's different. It stands out. Most people are not sending video through their text messages, even short ones, even 5-second video. Instead of typing something out that says, hey, Julie, let's meet over coffee or let's connect on the phone, I'll often send a video. And it's just me on video going, hey, Julie, let's connect for coffee sometime. And these are just simple things, but they're ways that you can really stand out and use the social media world to do just that, to be social. I think sometimes we miss the point of it. I was watching a video recently from Gary Vaynerchuk, who I'm a big fan of, and he was talking about that too, saying like, don't forget, social media is social. So if you're getting comments on a video or you're getting comments on a piece of content that you've published and put on social media and you're not responding to that, that's an invitation to be social, and you're kind of missing the point. So how I use social media, it's really, Sonya, it's really about communication. Instead of, I think what happens a lot is in the entrepreneurial space especially, we get so wrapped up in marketing and tactics and funnels and things like that, whereas I think we're missing the point. If we were to focus more on communication and just using this technology and these tools to be able to just have conversations, I think that our businesses would be better for it, because that's what we're not doing enough of.
That's good, because I feel like people should find a better way to like connect and stuff, because I feel like you can use social media in so many different ways in nowadays.
Well, you know what I think one of the problems I see with social media is that too many people are using it, again, to market and strictly marketing. So a lot of salesy things, a lot of promotions, buy this, look at, buy my stuff. And it's like, well, you're not really providing a lot of value. So I love the 80-20 rule on this. Like I always say, provide content, insight, story, experience, valuable content that really helps someone in your ideal audience, help move the needle for them. Do that 80% of the time, and then talk about promotion 20% of the time, because you've earned it at that point. But if you haven't been providing, most of your content hasn't been valuable to your ideal audience, I think it's frankly insulting to expect that you're going to sell your stuff if you've not been providing any value.
I agree. If someone asked you they're scared of public speaking, what would you say?
Sorry, can you repeat that question, Sonya?
If someone asked you, I'm scared of public speaking, what would you say?
So are millions of people. I mean, public speaking is far and away the most feared thing. People would rather jump off mountains, they'd rather jump out of planes than to get up in front of a group of people and speak. So you're not alone would be the first thing that I would say about that. But here's the thing. We live in a world where we have people around us. So we have to get over that fear. And so perfectly normal to be scared, perfectly normal to be nervous. And I always say, don't try to, sweep that under the rug. My feeling is embrace it. So you're scared. Embrace it. Own it. Admit it. It's okay. That's normal. And then beyond that, say, well, I'm going to do it anyway, right? And I think as far as public speaking is concerned, if we're talking about getting up in front of a group of people, like physically getting in front of a group of people, most people are wanting you to do well. I think sometimes we, in our minds, think that, oh, no, this is going to go terrible. We always think the worst. But most people in an audience want you to do well. They're actually rooting for you. The same is true on video. Video is just public speaking to an inanimate object. And most people want you to do well. So I think if we reframe that in our minds and say to ourselves, okay, most people want me to do well. I am scared. I am nervous. I'm going to own it. But I'm going to do it anyway. I think that's the best.
That's the best advice. Even I remember when I was in your class, like Monday, 8 a.m., and we were practicing, like talking in front of the class. Even I was a little bit nervous, even though I was with my group of classmates every day, Monday till Friday. So I felt like the advice that you gave us before going on camera helped a lot, even though like it was only a few amount of viewers from your Facebook. Even like the advice that you said, like, don't worry, everyone like messes up, just keep going. So even when we were going, each of our groups were going to talk, I felt like that really helped. Even like now when I speak with people, I felt like that helped me, your advice to like say, like, if you mess up a little bit on camera, it's okay, just keep going. And like, everyone gets nervous. So that made me feel like a lot better. That actually helped me improve too.
I'm so happy. That's great. Well, I think that's what we have to do. We have to do it anyway. You have to do it scared. You have to do it nervous, because the truth is we live in a world with people, and we have to understand that communication is the skill set. We have to be good communicators in this world.
What advice would you give the younger generation who want to pursue a career in TV?
Well, TV is so different than what it was when I was coming up. It's very different. My husband also has a long career in television broadcasting as well, over 30 years in the industry. It's very different now than what it used to be. And the reason why it's different is because of digital, the digital world. We're in the digital era. And so I would say that the best advice for someone who's wanting to get into television would be to try to have as many skill sets as possible, because that's what they're looking for now. Gone are the days where, a broadcaster or a network would hire someone to do one single job. Now it's more of a case of, are you capable of doing 3 jobs, maybe 4 jobs, like all rolled up in one? You do have to have, I think, a variety of different skill sets. Not to say that you have to be expert necessarily at all of them, but I think you have to be at least good at multiple skill sets at this point to be marketable in the television industry.
I agree. Like, it's either you have to have like a lot of skill sets for them to hire you, or you have to know somebody that used to work there that has a connection that could get you in. That's what I've noticed recently.
Well, there just aren't that many jobs anymore, and that's part of the problem. The other thing is that it's just like anything, you know, working for free in advance, you know, showing how valuable you are and the worth, you know, what you bring to the table is also a great strategy, whether that be some type of co-op or some type of volunteering. That's what I did. I was a volunteer for a long time, and I was waiting on tables, you know, while I was volunteering and trying to work my way up into network TV, and it works, you know, but that was a different era. So I don't want to make it sound like, oh yeah, just, you know, just volunteer a little bit and you're going to get a job. It isn't quite that way anymore, but, you know, we still do have television. We still do need broadcasters, obviously. It's just that there aren't as many jobs as there used to be.
I agree on that. Even I was talking to one of my coworkers, and even he said that there's not many jobs in TV or radio, but he said to just like keep looking and try to get your foot in the door somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that's good advice.
What's your favorite event that you public spoke at?
Oh, gosh. Well, you know what? I spoke at Mo Mondays several years ago, and I enjoyed it, but it was also a little bit frightening for me because I had to go up, and if you know anything about Mo Mondays, the concept of it is that you do not pitch anything. So I couldn't go up and talk about business or entrepreneurship, which are the topics I'm comfortable with. I had to go up and speak about personal stories, which is more challenging for me to share, and was even more challenging for me to share even a few years ago. I'm getting better at it now. I'm becoming more willing, shall we say, to share some of the points of my life and past that were things I maybe had buried. And so Mo Mondays was a bit challenging for me. I think I do recall breaking down and crying on stage at that point, but it was authentic and real, and I'm proud of that. I was proud of going up and speaking in front of a group of, I don't even know, 200 people and being that vulnerable, because that was a big step for me. One of the other ones that I spoke to a group of hypnotherapists in Albuquerque, New Mexico, earlier in the year, and that was a lot of fun. I actually was speaking for quite a long time. I would say maybe we were there more like a workshop style type of thing, and it was great. We had great results, and the group really enjoyed the talk. So that was one that really stood out for me because it was obviously an international talk, but I've had so many experiences on stage at this point, and I'm sure I'll have many more to come, but all of them bring their own, you know, I always take something away from each of them.
That's good. Mo Mondays is the event that you spoke at in Las Vegas, right?
In Las Vegas, I spoke. What did I do in Las Vegas? I've been to Las Vegas now several times. What did I do in Las Vegas? I have to think now. What did I do? Oh, that's right, because I was teaching your class at that point, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I remember. Yes. No, that was me. I had to go. I was part of a speaking mastermind, and I went to Las Vegas. I recall now. I went to Las Vegas for several days, and part of our curriculum was to get up in front of our group to speak. So that was a coaching and training course and program that I took to improve my own public speaking skills. Actually, that's a good point. You know, even speakers take courses and want to improve their own speaking. So the learning never really stops. But yes, I do recall that now, Sonya. I went to Las Vegas to do that, and I got up and I did the talk, and I was actually pretty happy with it.
Are you looking to expand your business or build your company in like a few years or even currently?
You know what? It's interesting. I think my goals are shifting and evolving somewhat for me as I continue down this entrepreneurial path. And I've only been a full-time entrepreneur since early 2017. So we're, approaching, 3-ish years at this point of the recording of this interview. And I think my goals 3 years ago were different than what they are now. Now I'm really looking to still continue with coaching and consulting, but I'm also really interested in guaranteed results for clients. And the way to do that is to actually produce videos for clients. I've been producing videos for clients in person. Like I actually I have clients who I go to periodically or sometimes even monthly, and I'll produce all their videos for them. But I'm really looking at ways, Sonya, to be able to provide that service virtually for clients so that it actually allows them to not have to carve out as much time out of their schedule, but still benefit from the ability to have videos produced for them so they can grow their audience. So that's an area that I'm really exploring and looking at. In short, yes, of course, I'm looking to build the business, but I'm also very mindful of not painting myself into a corner. I don't want to create a business that I'm going to end up not loving, right? That the whole point of entrepreneurship is that you can craft any type of business you want that suits your lifestyle. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for balance. I want to be able to work on my health, work on my personal development, and still be able to serve clients and have a business that works for me and for our family. And that's what I'm interested in.
That sounds good. It's always good to expand and then help clients, or even learn different ways to help your clients. Is there any upcoming...
I think that's part of it too, is you have to be aware of what people are telling you, what you're seeing. You have to be a good listener. You have to observe what's going on around you, and then be able to adapt to what you're seeing. And I think that's the part that I'm at now, and recognizing, oh yes, I see now that this is the area that I could really, really help people the most. And it's the part that I enjoy the most. So I'm going to do more of that. That's where we're at now. And so it's interesting because I think that for anyone listening to this, there's no doubt that every company, business, small, medium, and large, I mean, I work mostly with small and medium businesses, but all businesses need video. We're at that point in history now where over the next 10 years, every business will need video, whether you have it made for you, whether you make it yourself, whether you have an office studio set up, whether you do it on location, whatever that system is, every business is going to need video in the next 10 years.
I agree. I feel like everything now, everyone enjoys watching video. Sometimes they like hearing audio, but I notice even everything's either watched now on YouTube or somehow on social media.
And I specialize in business and marketing videos from the perspective of personal branding. So I'm really into helping people build their brands by being seen on camera. So I'm not the person that you come to have an explainer video created with just text on the screen, right? I'm the person you come to so that you can step in front of the camera and step in the spotlight and be seen. That's what I specialize in.
Is there any upcoming events that you're going to be speaking at, or anything that anyone can come meet with you and check you out?
Well, I am speaking in Atlanta. If anyone wants to come to Atlanta in January, you can follow me there. I'll be speaking in Atlanta in January. I also will be speaking briefly in Waterloo on that same weekend. It's, I think, the third weekend of January. I'd have to check the date. I'm also going to be hosting my own, well, the plan is at this point to create my own 3-day teaching event. I've been, over the last several years, holding 2-day live events, mostly fulfillment events for my clients, and they've gone really well. And what I've heard from people who attended them is they always say, oh, I'm having so much fun, I wish there was a third day. So what I've decided to do is to do a full-out training, teaching, 3-day teaching bonanza and really kind of just lay all the stuff out that I know over the course of 3 days. And I'm planning to do that in Toronto in late-ish April. I don't have a date yet, but that's what we're looking at this point. So that's exciting because we've had so many people who, you know, have attended these 2-day events and have loved it. And so it's really taking all the best of the best and kind of melding it into that 3-day event. But I'm always speaking, Sonya. I think the best thing to do would be probably to check my social media and see where I'm speaking next.
Where can people find you, like Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, although I don't use Twitter as much as other platforms, but I would say, and then of course YouTube. So, you know, I'd say Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn would probably be the main ones. And you can also check me out at SherylPlouffe.com. But I'm easy to find, you know, especially if most people are on Facebook, they can just send me a message, and I'm happy to respond there too.
Okay. Thank you so much for letting me interview you today.
Hey, this was my pleasure. I actually really enjoyed this conversation, and thank you so much for having me on.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.